Erica and Sharon are sisters who began their grief journey in 2006 when Erica's 10-year-old son Austin drowned. Together, they participated in a grief education program, were so moved by this experience, they studied and became specialists so they could help the brokenhearted find recovery. In 2015, tragedy struck their family once again when Erica's oldest son Donovan was killed in a motorcycle accident. Erica and Sharon are committed to sharing their experiences of love, loss, and healing through this podcast. Now your grief specialists, Sharon and Erica.
Immediately after a grieving experience, you and I know that grievers will do things that make decisions that they shouldn't be making at the time. When you are in the brokenness of your heart, there are decisions that you should not be making. You shouldn't be making a decision about changing your will, selling your house, getting rid of trust that you have. None of those decisions should be made in your grief, especially first 2 or 3 or 4 days. We have so many grievers that come to us and they're making these decisions. The second thing that you and I do love is that we find grievers that will start preserving their precious items, like they start to pull the things from dad that they love the most. Or the other thing that happens is some of the things that aren't even that important, like dad always drank out of this plastic cup, and then we want to start drinking out of that plastic cup. That's okay. We love that. One of the things that you did after Austin died was you made a box, and you started to make this box of personal items that you wanted to keep and preserve for him. Tell us about that box, Erica.
Well, I don't think it started out that I knew I was going to put the box together. I think I know I struggled for a long time with clearing out his drawers and getting rid of his clothes. I just was so emotionally attached to everything. So I didn't want one thing to be moved. And we actually kept his room. We want to keep his room the same. And it was just, there's this desire to just kind of keep things as is. But as we found our healing and we went through the program, that overwhelming urge to keep everything was not there anymore. So one day when I was ready, I decided to go through the drawers, and I said, well, I'll keep some of his things, like then later we can look at them. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly, but I know I found that box the other day in the garage. Actually, Lewis found it. Lewis found it in our shop.
Wait, hold on. Did he go like, hey, Erica, here's your Austin box?
No, he said, hey, Austin's box what are you doing with Austin's box? And I was like, Austin's box? What is that? Is what I said. So now where are we at? 16 years later?
Going on 7.
I have no recollection of even making this box.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like kind of excited because I was like, oh my God, how cool. So I go to the box and I open it up. So funny. I laughed for like 20 minutes. And the first thing I pulled out, and I held it up in front of me, and I was like, what's this shit? In the box is the most random, and this is why you should wait.
Yeah.
Because you definitely want to make sure you have the precious items. I had some like weird sweater. Austin, first of all, never wore sweaters. That boy lived in shorts and t-shirts. Even if it was freezing outside, he wanted to wear shorts. It was a weird sweater. I'm assuming I probably had him wear it for like Christmas picture or something. Then there was, you bought this for Donovan. Remember when Daddy tried to give Donovan the Bubba nickname? And you had those pajamas made, the Lion King ones, and you had the name monogrammed on there. It says Bubba. So in actuality, it was like a twofer box. That was Donovan's. The two things that I love that were in the box were his Spider-Man costume and his Power Ranger costume. That
Oh,
boy loved to dress up because he would wear them during the week at home as like run around dress up clothes.
yeah.
And then just some weird shirts, like t-shirts, but like nothing of significance. Because the stuff that he wore on a regular basis, I have in a drawer in my room. So that's why I was like, an Austin box? What's that?
So a couple of things happened there. Number one, in your deep, deep grief, you packed that box.
Yeah.
Days or weeks after Austin died, you packed that box. And that's why we say, don't make any life altering decisions in your grief. Now, this is we're making fun and it's a silly little moment to use this example. I love the idea of the grieving box. I love that idea of putting a box together of all your precious things. But make sure they're the things you're going to want to look at in 20 years. Did you want to look at the Bubba pajamas 17 years later?
The only reason why I do love that the Bubba pajamas were in there is because the tie with our dad and Donovan. But yeah, no, normally that would have been like, okay, I needed supervision while I was putting this box together.
Yeah.
And the point of this that is so great to make is that in the days and weeks after you lose your loved one, you feel as though you want to hold on to every single thing because
Yes.
everything is precious. Like you said, dad's favorite plastic hospital cup, you know? But when you do your healing work and years later you come upon that box, the significance is not there like it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's what's so crucial to understand. The emotion that you feel when you're packing the box should not be what you feel when you open the box 20 years later, if you've done some healing work.
What did you get? What was your special thing that you wanted after Daddy died?
I didn't want, hold on, let me think. I didn't want anything of his, I don't think. I didn't have.
I felt the same way because I had been given or I borrowed and never returned a few things of his. So there wasn't like all this need to have all these things because I think I had thoroughly enjoyed him. And I have a glass dipper of his, a bowl of his mom's. I have a pen from when he was in Knights of Columbus, like just things like that I'd already had. So I didn't feel need or urge to have anything special. Okay, so what about the special things that you kept from Donovan?
So Donovan, I kept his I call it his uniform because he wore it so frequently. It was a cutoff on the sleeves, his own design, I should say, not professionally done. Captain America t-shirt with his khaki utility shorts that boy wore at least 3 times a week. The same thing because he loved Captain America and loved cargo, I guess khaki cargo shorts. So I kept that. That was one thing I knew I wanted. And his Buzz Lightyear. I have his Buzz Lightyear.
And so and the other thing that happened when Donovan died, I don't remember this from Austin, but I remember me wanting something of Austin's, but everybody wanting something of Donovan's.
Yes, they were like vultures.
That's a human response to a loss, is wanting something
Well, it
personal.
is. You want something that you can keep so sacred in the beginning. Like we said, in the beginning, it's so important to have something. But when you get on the other side of doing your healing work, you know you have your memories. You'll carry your love for them forever. I will carry my love for my boys. I carry my boys in my heart. So the physical stuff is not as important. You know what I mean? The stuff you
Yeah,
can touch and look at, because it's like, it's not really a piece of them.
right.
And remember how we were so focused on everyone getting the fingerprint? We were going to get Donovan's fingerprint and
I
everyone was going to have a
forgot
necklace. You know what I mean? We were going to do it. We were going to, and everyone wanted to be on it. And that's like the thing with the ashes. You get the little necklace and you put a piece of the, like, it's so important in the beginning.
So I originally thought that this was going to be the grief box. That's what I titled it at. But this is really the need versus the want. So, and let me explain that. Immediately after Donovan died, you had this need to keep all of his special things by you. And that's what happened with that box that you made for Austin. There was this need to keep all this stuff. I have to keep him alive. I have to keep him in my heart. I have to keep this. I have to keep this special cup. Versus once we're healed, once our broken heart has healed and we've actually gone after it, I want this stuff of his. It's a huge
Right.
difference, Erica, between the need and the want. When you're in the need, you do crazy things in the need. You pack a box of pajamas that didn't belong to that child. That's the need. Like you just went in the drawer and pulled out random crap and you put it in the box. That is the need. I need this. This is going to help me heal. This is going to help me be with them. Versus the want is, I have his Captain America t-shirt.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
that. That's
And
important.
that is, it's so true. Cause when you asked about our dad, I was witness to our dad. Donovan used to like to wear rosaries as a fashion statement. And it was so offensive to our Catholic parents. It was like he was, summoning the demon or something. So it was just so sacrilegious. And after our father was diagnosed with cancer and we knew it was terminal, and he saw Donovan wearing that rosary, he called him over and he said, Here. And he took off his cross that he always wore every single day, my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And he gave it to Donovan and he said, Wear this. And I immediately got all emotional because it was like so beautiful. And it was something so sacred because it was something, like I said, I had seen our father wear every single day of his life. When Donovan died, I said, you know what? It would have been so easy for me to be like, I'm going to hold this cross so sacred because it's a symbol of not just our father, but what he gave to Donovan. And
Right.
I'm going to walk around and look at it. I didn't do that. I gave it to our brother, who then only had the only grandson at the time, oldest grandson, Keith Michael. Give this to Keith Michael. It'll be something tradition, something sacred he can cherish. Our sister had a different response when we're talking about need versus want. Our father had also given some items to other people, and she wanted all of those items back because she wanted to hold them all
Yeah.
precious. And I get it. I'm not,
Yeah.
shaming her, but I totally understand it because when he's gone, you just want all the things.
You
You
want
want to
all
hold
the
on
things.
to them because it's kind of like that's them. But you and I, by the time our dad died, had done so much work,
Yeah.
we didn't have that same draw. But
Yeah.
for the others, they have that.
So that you reminded me of a story I haven't thought about in a while. One of our dad loved the Dodgers. He loved the Dodgers. That's all he wanted to talk about. And so the very first year after he died, the very first Dodger game, we all went as a family. We all went as a family, and my daughter Brittany was so excited to get the wave started, and we, had hot dogs and nachos till our stomachs wanted to fall out. At one point, Keith Michael, who is Keith's son, came up to me and he put his hand in his pocket and he goes, T, look what I got. And he pulled out Daddy's rosary. Daddy had
Oh.
given him the rosary and he brought it to the game. And he was so proud of it. And it was so special to him that he wanted to have that rosary with him. There was a want for him to have that. And
Yeah.
he was excited to have it. And it was really beautiful. It was a really beautiful share. And that's the difference between needing to have something and wanting to have it. And we know for a fact, we actually see this happen in our grievers. We see them break down the difference between a need and a want. We see them having this need to have to hoard and carry everything around versus the wanting of, I have this precious thing to share of my dad or my brother or my sister.
And that's when we have those conversations with clients of, have you gone through their things? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing, because I don't want anyone to take anything.
Yeah.
And they're super hyper vigilant about who is coming into the house after
Yeah.
and where they're going in the house. Like you can tell when they're stuck in the want, in the need, because it's like, if you move one thing, they just panic. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to touch it. I'll put it back. You know what I mean? It's got a look. The need has a look
Yeah.
and a desperation to it.
So I definitely tell grievers to, if they want to keep their child's room, I love that. You want to go in there and be with your child. I love for that to be a place for them to go and grieve. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about this 20 years later still having the room there, 20 years later not having people there, people touching the things, or what are you going to put in the grief box? Make the grief box. If you feel the urge to make the grief box, just think about everything you're putting in there and making sure it's the things you're going to want to see 20 years from now.
Right.
Because it's been 17 years and you open that grief box and you were like, what the heck is this?
I laughed out loud because I thought, who let me put this in here? Like, what? Where was my
Not
supervision?
me. Definitely not me.
But I love that I had the experience and that I'm able to laugh. I feel
Yeah.
sad for people who 20 years later open the box and break down crying like their person just died.
Yeah.
I'm sad for those people.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful I'm at a point in my healing where I could open the box, realize I was not in my right state of mind, and know that there's not one thing in that box that has anything to do with the relationship I had with Austin or the love I had for him in my heart or the journey that he and I were on together.
That's beautiful. The other thing is, and to all of our sisters, I want them to understand, when you're holding that precious item and you absolutely have to have it, you need to know where it's at all times. You won't let anyone touch it. You're deep in your grief at that moment. When you're holding that precious item because you want it, because you enjoy it, and you're willing to share it with others or allow them to take it to their house for 2 or 3 weeks, or you can touch it and you can post pictures about it, and it's a joy when you see it. That's the difference between grieving and healing. The need and the want, right there.
You want to be on the want side.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to work to get on the want side.
And you do. It takes work.
Okay, sisters. Hey, here's the deal. We are every Saturday, we drop our podcast that we love doing. Erica and I enjoy doing these so much. But if you want access to us every day, where you're going to get that is in our Facebook group. Click the link below and join the Facebook group. Erica and I are in there every day. We're writing, we're putting thought-provoking questions for you. We're there with you with other sisters who are grieving. We're in there as a group, helping one another go through this most painful process in our life. Thank you for allowing us in for these few moments. We're honored to be here with you. Goodbye, friends.
Bye, friends. Thank you.